Oh, goody, goody, here it comes.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show.
You are interested in the unknown, the mysterious, the unexplainable. That is why you are here.
Oh, my God, don't stop now!
With your hosts, Brian, John, and Elaine. Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show, the madhouse for film freaks and film fans of all types. I'm your host, Brian Coddington, joined by my fellow co-hosts and filmmakers, John and Elaine Woolscroft.
I cannot wait to get Mama Cat's sweet, sweet milk.
Ew. Oh.
Ew.
Well, you set the tone right away, didn't you?
You seriously did.
Well, they keep mentioning her milk in the movie.
It's
No, they don't.
Yeah, they
do.
Yeah, they do.
Multiple times.
I mean, they mentioned milk, not her milk.
There's some interspecies relations going on.
I mean, I know there's relations, but
There are some relations.
Hey, in fairness, Mama Cat's pretty hot.
Mama Cat is just cool cat with lips and eyelashes glued on.
How
Yeah.
dare you?
So we're on episode 86.
And you can tell we're raring to go.
And we seriously are raring to go. This is a one that I'm probably going to regret because this is a bad movie.
You don't regret already?
No, I already do.
The regret is real.
This was a bad movie that I knew going in was going to be a really bad movie. It wasn't like
Painful.
one.
Some of them are painful.
I told you it hurt watching
It hurts.
So we're going to be reviewing Cool Cat Saves the Kids, also known as Cool Cat Stops Bullying, also known as the sequel to Cool Cat Saves the Kids that Derek Savage is now working on. I'm not kidding. He actually is trying to.
All of that just sounded like a Michael Scott bit. Like, sounded like something from The Office.
Also known as Derek Savage is a hack fraud con artist.
Oh,
you're
went
just
there.
firing right off.
Shots fired right away.
Shots fired. Not even a minute in.
Not
And
even to the news bit yet.
Yeah, this whole video is just is an elaborate commercial for all of his shitty products that he just shills
It's true.
as a way to make money off of naive children.
It's true. But gentlemen, we're
before
getting
we
ahead of
get to that-
ourselves.
Before we get to that, we do have a little bit of a news bit, and this particular news bit, it's kind of close to home. This is about the Hollywood Theater in Dormont.
Dormont in Pittsburgh, PA.
Yeah, so we've all gone to the Hollywood Theater. I've worked 40-hour film festivals there. Know the people who run it really well. You guys go there all the time.
That's where we put John's 30th birthday party. It was a
John's
surprise
30th
party.
birthday party was there.
I've shown a few separate projects there.
Yeah,
so
his
I've
own
had
stuff
premieres
he's
there.
shown there.
I've had some films shown there as part of film festivals. So
They're an awesome facility and a
great
great
facility.
organization.
Yep, and it was kind of disheartening to hear that this organization might not be the same because of some shenanigans that recently occurred.
Oh, I hate shenanigans.
Yeah. So if you're in Pittsburgh, you probably are well aware of this. It's been covered on numerous news outlets, on the web. I don't know if it was on TV or anything like that because I don't really have cable. But
I'm sure I got some network news exposure.
Yeah, probably. I mean, this is one of those things you
Local
mostly
things.
hear about online, and that's the nice thing of the social media age. Like, they were able to put out several statements on their own page to kind of clue everybody in as to what's going on, because it is fairly complicated, right, Brian?
It is. And really, if it wasn't for some of those, social media outlets, as well as some of the, different news articles that came out, I don't know if people would completely understand what happened.
Exactly.
So basically, the Hollywood Theater, to give you a little bit of background here, is it's a 90-year-old theater. I believe it's 90.
Ooh, I didn't realize it
wow.
was that old.
Yeah, I think it is that old.
Well, if you think about when the houses around this area were built, that's not that unusual.
It's the oldest theater in Pittsburgh. Oldest theater.
Wow.
Oldest movie house in Pittsburgh. And it's been in multiple iterations, main run theater, second run theater.
It was opened in 1918. The hell were they running? The Great Train Robbery?
No, it's the oldest theater in Pittsburgh.
Come in and see Nickelodeons.
And basically, it's gone through a couple different iterations. It's been second run, it's been a main run theater. And its new iteration is basically a community center that shows films. And really does a lot of outreach.
And like such a cool place because, you can see a random like Norwegian documentary. You can see an art film.
Yep.
I mean,
Horror movies.
They do get, some like first run stuff
They
like
do,
every once in a while. If it's like more art minded, I think, but
They showed Disaster Artist there, and they
Yeah.
showed what was it, Darkest Hour?
Did they have Shape of Water? I thought they had Shape of
I think
Water
they
for like
did.
a hot minute. But I mean, and they do a lot of really great programming, like Breakfast in a Movie,
Yep.
which is super fun. Just a huge variety. I mean, there's nothing like anybody could find something to do there.
Right. I mean, I've seen Nosferatu with a live performance there.
Oh, yeah, and
that
Rocky
was
Horror's
awesome.
there all the
Rocky
time. Mm-hmm.
Horror's there all the time. So what ended up happening, and this kind of took us all by surprise, the people who run Hollywood Theater, they're known as a nonprofit called Friends of the Hollywood Theater.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They don't own the theater. That's the big thing you want to keep in mind. They don't own the theater. They actually have been paying rent to another nonprofit that leased the theater since
2006?
2006 until about 2016. Okay. They were basically paying rent and everything was fine because this previous nonprofit had tried to operate a theater as a second run and it failed. Okay. Because, and this is kind of the odd idea behind a second run. If you're not familiar with it, your movie plays at like AMC Lowe's or any sort of main theater. And then after about a month, okay, it leaves that theater and goes to a second run theater like the Hollywood had been, where it was screened for another additional month or two before making its way over to home video or cable.
They used
Right.
to do that, in Erie, where I grew up,
Yeah.
and it was. I mean, the theater was a piece of shit, but the movie was like $1.50.
Well, it was the
Yeah.
dollar theater.
Yes.
That's why we called it that, because it was a lot of times like the only time we could afford to see
Right.
a movie, like poor college students. But
Right.
yeah, I
and
mean,
there's usually like a hobo jerking off in the back, but at least you got to finally, get caught up.
and he
on
wouldn't
the
make eye contact.
X-Men
It was
movie
very
or whatever.
polite.
Yeah. So
Don't bother me, and I won't bother you.
So this previous nonprofit, known as the Bradley Center, had tried to run it as a second run. It failed. So Friends of the Hollywood Theater stepped in. They renovated the whole theater themselves.
Beautiful.
Put a crap ton of blood, sweat, and tears into it. And they ended up paying rent every month to this nonprofit. Then what ended up happening was the lease had run out in 2016.
Right.
And Friends of Hollywood was looking at buying the theater from the property holder, who has a very long name, is basically, I'll get the specifics here. Kelly, Riley, Neal, and Barna Associates. So,
I hate when law offices do
yeah.
that. So there's like 7 of them. It's like Thompson, Stevenson, Montgomery.
Yeah.
Montgomery.
Listen, they all worked hard to be a partner, guys. They wanted that name on the side.
Yeah, it's fine. But, when you have to keep tacking on, extra building to accompany the sign, it gets a little ridiculous.
How do you even get a business card in that situation? You can't fit all that on there.
No. But the important part is that Friends of Hollywood was in talks to buy the theater for themselves. Okay. Which would have preserved all of this. Okay.
Right.
At the same time, okay, this was sometime last year, a former board member named Richard Fosbrink, who is now part of an organization called Theater Historical Society of America. He approached Friends of Hollywood and asked, hey, can I buy the theater? They said no. Okay.
a world of no thank you.
They said no. Okay. Because they wanted to buy it themselves. Understandable. And they had apparently come to an agreement and said, hey, you know what? If you're going to try to buy the theater again, please get our blessing. That sort of thing. This guy didn't do that. This guy went over the head of Friends of Hollywood and went directly to Kelly Riley, Neal, Barna, and Associates and put down a cash offer of $375,000 to buy the theater. And now they have preliminary sale of that. Hasn't been finalized yet. That's a key thing here. It hasn't been finalized.
And he wants it to be second run.
He and his partner, who had run second run theaters, basically envisioned it as being more mainstream. He keeps saying that the Hollywood was on bad financial footing when people who are actually running the day-to-day operations are saying, no, that's furthest from the truth.
Yeah.
In fact, the only thing that Friends of Hollywood has said is like $375 is kind of a cheap price for the amount of repairs that the Hollywood needs.
Yeah, because there's some things that need to be addressed.
Yeah, and they had the building appraised in 2016 at $250,000. Okay,
Right.
but this guy he basically has been going on social media and saying, oh, well, you just don't understand. We're going to keep the programming. We're going to keep everything works. We're just going to try to make it more mainstream.
But the thing that stinks is, like, you already are proven to be a liar.
Yeah.
Like, you said you wouldn't try to buy the theater without, the proper channel's blessing. And, like, how can we believe you at your word? Like, your word means less than nothing now because you've proved yourself a liar.
Well, this is like somebody saying, hey, I want to buy PBS and make it not for profit. I want to make it, and don't worry, we're going to keep Sesame Street. We're going to keep all the programming you like. It's
all
just
the
going to be a
feel-good
for-profit company now.
Yeah.
Right.
And we saw when that happened, when the Learning Channel.
Yeah.
Remember, there actually used to be learning on that goddamn channel.
Yeah. Now it's Honey Boo Boo.
Yeah, now it's Honey Boo Boo.
It's true. And well, what really sucks is that, the idea of a second run theater, the research shows that those theaters don't make any money. So his entire business model is already doomed to fail.
Yeah.
But the fact is, the reason why the Hollywood is so great is because it's gotten a reputation for being niche and for having something that, anybody can enjoy and seeing things that you wouldn't really see anywhere else. That's the great thing about a lot of the art theaters in the city. Obviously the ones owned by filmmakers, like the one in Regent and Harris Theater. Those ones are great for that. And the Row House does a lot of great programming too. The Hollywood is like our theater of the South Hills.
Right. The way I looked at it, and my biggest problem with this is one, as you said, it doesn't work. Okay, the business model has failed a couple times.
Yeah,
to turn into a second run.
To try to make it more mainstream is just so stupid. It's doing fine the way it is.
The other issue I have with it being mainstream, and a lot of people don't understand how this works with movie distribution. But when a Hollywood studio wants to give a theater their film, especially second run, they expect that film is going to be played a certain amount of times during a certain amount of blocks of the week. Okay? So myself, independent filmmaker, if I want to come in and I want to do a premiere of my next movie at the Hollywood, if it's a second run, I now have to compete with the Hollywood studios. Okay? Because they've already... It doesn't sound like a fair fight. It sounds like bullshit. Okay? Because I guarantee you, what'll end up happening is they'll say, okay, fine, these blocks here, weekend blocks here are sold out. You can't do that unless you pay us an exorbitant amount of money to cover us basically putting your little rinky-dink movie in there over a movie that we've already got the licensing rights to.
Yeah, because what people don't realize is when you have a film like as a theater and you have to show it so many times, like you're paying so many times, like the theater has to pay.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is if you ever go to a movie and you're a tiny bit late and you're the only person in the theater, you've cost that theater money because if no one shows up within 15 minutes of a showing, the licensing agreement does allow the theater to pull that screening and get their money back, like that they would have had to pay.
Yeah.
So you're literally costing a theater money if you show up and you're the only person in the theater because the cost of your ticket didn't cover it,
Right. But it's just, it would hurt independent filmmakers like us. Mm-hmm. It would hurt any sort of outside group, like I'm talking about the Rocky Horror people who want to do something different.
Who come in and any festival that comes in and whatnot. They do a lot of that sort of thing too. And a big thing too with the Hollywood that we have to remember is that it is a single screen.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest example of how second run theaters can fail is when it's a single screen theater.
Exactly. And the other thing too is you have other theaters within the area that can do what this guy wants to do better. Okay, you've got the Galleria that's in the South Hills. You've got
there are a lot of
movie theaters.
We are flush with movie theaters.
Hashtag blessed.
Yeah.
Big and small, and
but what I'm saying is, for it to be a second run theater, it's gonna have to compete with all those other big multiplexes that are within a mile or two distance.
And Robinson's not that far.
It doesn't
that theater
make any
is
sense.
So nice.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
Yeah, and it's nice because this is like an independent theater that's more focused on art. Because I don't know about you guys, but AMC Lowe's in the Waterfront, that place makes me want to kill myself. It is just such a giant, lifeless mall-looking.
It's like a corporate shell.
Here's the thing: the first time I saw it, I thought it was cool, but then as I've seen other theaters that are way better, it hurts.
And listen,
it seems kind of phony.
Yeah.
Listen, the snacks at Lowe's on the waterfront
like
are so
$36,
expensive.
yeah.
They're so expensive. I have a pro tip for you listeners. If you like to go to the waterfront, I recommend getting the curly fries. They are cheaper and fewer calories than the popcorn.
Okay.
They're like $5 cheaper than the popcorn.
Gummy bears? That'd be $26.
Seriously, it's so expensive, but the fries are really good.
Yeah. But
that's my gift to you.
the last point I want to make, and we'll wrap this up here. The guy's Facebook group, Theater Historical Society of America, the members of his own group don't like this.
Remember?
Okay? Like, that's the important thing. If you go to it and you look at the comments of his own members that have actually created a petition, they don't even like that he's doing
So the
this.
people that are supposed to be on his side are like, what are you doing?
They're even like, why are you picking a fight with an entire community? Because that's the whole thing. The entire community has said, hell no.
People are showing up hard
I have
for
only
this. They don't
seen
want
one
this.
person who's actually said, keep an open mind. And I was like, you can't keep an open mind when he basically tried to buy it right out from under the people who are working on it.
Yeah.
You know, so I would say this is bullshit. I hope that it doesn't go through. I hope that,
me too.
Friends of Hollywood is able to defeat this. And I have a feeling they will, just because the optics of this are not very good. And if anything, if this guy buys it and he ends up doing his plan, I have a feeling that it's going to fail, and because simply people will not go because they know the circumstances of how it was bought. So
Right.
If you want to support those guys, find their Facebook, Hollywood Theater in Dormont on Facebook, find them on Twitter, and just, send a message, say, hey, you know what, we're with you. What can I do to help?
Save the independent cinema.
Seriously.
Definitely.
We're going to go and take a quick little break, send it over to our friends over the Epicast Network. When we come back, we're going to be diving into one of the most painful films that I've had to watch. Cool Cat Saves the Kids.
Hey, yo, I'm Ed Bailey. I'm here with
Dave Bracey.
and we are the Drinking Partners Podcast on Epicast Network. Fucked it up. Make sure you check us out, man. We got the Comedy Fuel, which is really supposed to be beer fuel comedy podcast, but
Craft Fuel Beer Potter. Craft Beer Fuel Pot. Motherfucker,
right.
man. I'm gonna have to write that down.
What up? Craft Fuel
Hold on,
Beer
hold on.
Podcast.
Yeah, Craft Fuel.
Craft Brew Fuel Craft Beer Fuel Podcast. Okay. Craft Brew Fuel. Craft Beer Fuel Comedy. Those are not 4 words that you say normally. All right. Craft Brew. You knew that I was gonna fuck up. You knew. Craft Beer Fuel Comedy Podcast. All right, so Craft Beer Fuel Comedy Podcast on.
You can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us at PartnersPod on Facebook, Twitter, and IG. And you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Libsyn under Drinking Partners.
Yo, if you ain't heard and if you don't know, Drinking Partners is the crew, Epicast is the family. Make sure you check us out, man.
And we're back. Those messages from our friends over at the Epicast Network, specifically the Drinking Partners Podcast. Definitely check those guys out at epicastnetwork.com.
Us first, then them.
First than them. They were on TV recently.
I saw that. That was a cool interview.
Yeah, Today Live, I think was what it was.
I feel like Dave Bracey's like the nicest person that exists on the earth.
I don't
so
know Ed that
nice.
well, but I'm assuming he's pretty nice.
Well,
too.
of course. Yeah, no. Just Dave is so nice.
So yeah, fucking Cool Cat.
Cat. So
Oh God.
I was so
We had a
resistant.
pause there because Brian had to take a sip of the Joe because
Sip of the
he
Joe.
needs to get the caffeine running to talk about.
I wish this
talk about
was
this
liquor
delightful
right
movie.
now. I'm going to be honest with you.
So I had already known about Cool Cat because I'm married to John, and I'd seen
Cool Cat.
and I'd seen a lot of
Mike for that.
I'd seen a lot of this already. This film, and like when we were watching it last night, I just knew we'd seen so much of the movie already, and like every time a scene came up, I was like, "We've seen this already." But we watched a very thorough breakdown, and I'm pretty sure alcohol was involved, so I got it a little scrambled in my brain.
Well, before we kind of go over the ins and outs of the movies, we should really know about the filmmaker.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding when I say that this man is a hack fraud, who is just conning everyone.
Human dildo.
He's a con man.
How do you justify that he's a hack fraud? I don't know that much about Derek
Did
Savage.
you watch this movie?
No. I mean, he's a terrible filmmaker.
Well, this entire movie was just an elaborate excuse to create a commercial for all of his underselling products.
Okay.
For example, Cool Cat creates a character which is Trolley the Trout or something like that. That's one of his books.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the whole Christmas Parade part of the movie, that's only in there so he could sell separate Cool Cat Christmas Parade DVD.
Wow.
So everything in here. Oh, and the constant mentioning of him having created Cool Cat, and even the opening credits has one of the books in it. This is just made so he could sell more of his underselling books that already are not informed or researched. They're just like, kids are stupid. And if I put a cat on the cover, the parents will buy the book for the kid, and I'll make a lot of money off of people's like misinformation.
See, I didn't know all that. I mean, that makes more sense now. My reasoning for not really caring for Derek Savage is because of his attitude towards reviews.
Oh, yeah. So
this episode's going to be taken down.
No, it won't. Here's why it won't. Because
It's
there will
audio?
be. It's all audio.
Yeah.
We don't have any clips from his fucking movie. Okay. All of us it's just opinion. Okay. Now he can call us bullies, which I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about we're referencing, in case anyone's also not familiar with this aspect, is that Derek Savage of Cool Cat fame is quite famous for going after anybody that wants to review his stuff. And, they end up using clips of the film. And he's kind of like a Tommy Wiseau about it, where if you're using some of his clips, even if it's completely fair use, Derek will come after you legally. And he's gotten a lot of things pulled down from YouTube because he's been able to just throw his weight around and say that he's being defamed,
Well, yeah, and the thing is, he has pretended to be law firms and stuff to try to like threaten to take people that review these films all their money and
he's written like cease and desists as a lawyer.
Yeah, and he's taken these fair use videos and tried to destroy him like a fucking bully.
Yeah.
You hack, fraud, lying sack of shit.
Well, what I don't like about him is that he louds himself, as this, auteur of like what's supposed to be.
Wait a minute. You did
He
not.
takes himself
Savage and auteur.
He takes himself that seriously.
No.
I think he sees
God.
himself as this person
killing me, Elaine.
who creates like educational things for children. And I think he takes that very seriously. But the film
Elaine, no.
is terrible.
I couldn't disagree with you more. So let me go a little bit into.
I'm saying he takes himself that seriously.
I
I'm
don't
not
think
saying
he does.
You think it's all a ploy?
Yeah, it's all a big ruse. Like he
Really?
knows he's pumping out misinformation children's book as fast as possible to turn as much of a profit as possible.
Really, I think he thinks that he is like this expert on child behavior and like eradicating bullying.
No,
and
this
stuff.
video's a scam.
Well,
I mean,
here's
it
the thing.
is, but I think he believes the lie.
I don't deny that this video is a scam. It's a lot of other things too. But I think he is drinking his own Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I do too, Brian.
And that's kind of what Lane's saying. I
Man,
think
I
he
feel like I always
literally
agree with you,
believes.
Brian, not with my own husband.
I'm always out in the no. Well, it's also an interspecies erotica movie, but we'll get there.
There's a
We'll get
reason
there.
why I think he believes his own Kool-Aid, because he thinks what he's saying is uplifting and does a great thing, and he's uber Christian.
Yes,
Not that there's
he is.
anything wrong
Oh,
against
is he?
Christianity.
Yes, he's very Christian.
I have
So-
nothing
There's
against
anything
them.
wrong
Well,
with that.
This
Let me-
is preachy.
Let me try to explain how this guy it's not even a masterful con artist, like a bad con artist. Okay, first off, his website looks like something right out of 1995.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, I hope he didn't pay anybody to make this website.
Oh, he probably did.
Derek Savage is a former male stripper turned children's author.
Yeah, that's the one thing a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah,
He was a Chippendales dancer.
yeah,
Wait, what?
yeah, and also Playgirl model, and yeah.
Wait, no.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he has that face.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you don't really look at the face, but
Well, in fairness to Derek, I mean, the guy looks like the Trout character he wrote, but he's also 50.
you almost killed Brian.
Hey,
You almost murdered him.
don't call him a trout face. Don't be a bully, Cool Cat.
Yeah, they're going to hear me hitting my coffee cup against
Oh
the
my
mic.
God, you died.
Because I won't
You
spit it out.
died.
Daddy Derek, you look like something from the ocean.
It's true.
But he's also like 55 years old in this.
Yeah.
in Cool Cat.
Yeah, I mean,
That's why
you
he's
can
wearing.
tell if someone used to be good looking.
That's why he's wearing his sensible dad sneakers.
And he has dad bod.
That's not necessarily true. Like John Travolta was somewhat of a handsome man in the 70s. You look at him now, you go, "Oh my god, he looks like a fat ventriloquist dummy."
That's true, actually.
Well, that's what happens when you Sharpie your hairline.
I'm not going to say anything about Scientology.
Please
All I
don't.
said was you Sharpied your hairline. That's it. But yeah, so
No, but he writes a series of books, and they're all the type of subject matter that is going to they're trash bait stories. Like,
Yeah.
they're children's novels that he doesn't research. So people will buy the books for their kids. Like grandma's going to pick it up from Sam's Club. Oh, little Billy likes cats. And then he has religious novels because. Sorry, or any of our religious audience, but that's the biggest, the shills in the world. If you market to them, they will buy it. So he has religious books, and he has revenge thrillers. So that's what he writes.
doesn't he also do like gun
thrillers.
safety
Yes.
videos?
So in this
Wait,
movie,
no.
and
Yeah.
we'll get to
Yeah.
this. There's a scene where there's like a gun, and the little kid's like, "Oh, we can't touch it. We have to tell an adult." And like, "Oh, gun safety." He has videos where teaching women how to use guns, and he also writes novels about people taking justice into their own hands by shooting motherfuckers.
Yeah.
So he's a hypocrite con artist.
Plus,
at the
his
same time.
advice for the gun is like the worst possible advice ever. By the way,
Yeah. So on his website there's links to books for children, but also links to him half naked and links to him doing his karate,
Oh, no,
karate.
John, no.
yeah,
which
yeah.
is just him in like a parking lot in a white beater with a couple of like karate weapons. This guy is you know what he is?
playing your face right now. I wish we had video.
He
because
brought up the
it's great.
Playgirl magazine shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, with his
Well-
kids' books.
Yeah, with his children's books. Remember Napoleon Dynamite? Remember Uncle Rico? This
He's
guy's Uncle Rico.
Oh my god! You know what? You're absolutely right. He is Uncle Rico.
But, thing is, like, I have done extensive research on bullying. I've done presentations on bullying.
have.
This guy doesn't know jack shit about bullying because he doesn't care to learn about bullying. He just knows that it's a hot button topic that I can put out a video with a cartoon cat in it, or not like a live action guy in a cat costume, and people will eat it up, and I'll make lots and lots of money.
And that's the one that I forgot about. That I forgot that your thesis film in grad school was about bullying,
Yes.
Oh, especially cyberbullying.
especially cyberbullying, which is one of the tenets in this god awful film. So you especially are probably more offended by this than anyone in this room.
His lack of knowledge about anything.
Yeah.
But getting to the actual movie. So Cool Cat is a character.
Well, do you want
in
to talk
his
about the
books.
technical merits of this movie first?
Yes.
Well,
Let's
or do we want to just go over
You
the
want
plot?
to just go over the
real
plot?
Let's go over
real
the
quick?
plot.
Okay.
I'll
All
do
right,
that.
all right,
I'll go
all right.
over the plot because you made me watch it. So basically, like, we take for granted that, this orange cat is
Not Garfield.
apparently a
Not
little kid.
Garfield.
And it's I would say an anthropomorphic costume. Like,
Oh, it's a furry costume.
yeah, like it's something of
best way
that
to
nature.
describe
It's like cartoonish, But he wears a shirt that says Cool Cat on it, and he has shorts, even though he's a cat.
Yeah.
And we take for granted that
Fancy his
he's
furry cat dick.
okay.
He's supposed to be like any other kid, only he's a giant abomination of God man cat.
Okay, so I'm gonna get through this this synopsis just
Ow.
real quick.
You hit me.
I patted you. So we take for granted that he's presumably a child, and he has child friends, but they are human.
He's 6 foot tall.
So he's so large, it's so upsetting because they make tiny anthropomorphic costumes. They could have had a child do it. Anyway,
or a little person.
I mean, or
get around the child labor
or
laws.
even a small woman. I mean, I know women who are like 4'11",
5 foot,
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So anyway, he has his friend Maria over. He's running for class president at school. They are harassed by a bully with a really unfortunate speech impediment. I don't know
Butch
why
the
they
bully.
hired this poor child. He tries so hard. Like the little boy who actually plays the bully, he tries so hard. It's actually adorable.
Lane, are you skipping over the opening credits of this movie?
She's just given a general
Am I going to get through this, or are you going to continue to
She's
interrupt
just
me?
Giving a general plot.
Giving a general plot.
General
I'm
plot.
broad strokes. We're
She's
going
broad
fast.
strokes.
Broad
We'll
strokes,
go
broad
deep
strokes.
into this.
And then he gets to go to Hollywood with his dad, who is Derek Savage in the movie, whose entire acting technique, may I also say, is just smiling like a dildo. Like just that like brainless, like you had your spinal cord ripped out and it's right before you die. Like just that brainless shitting yourself smile that like means nothing. Like
Shit-eating
vacant
grin.
stare.
That's the same smile he has in Playgirl.
Yeah, it is.
God.
So you have to look at that, Brian. It is horrifying. Talk about things you can't unsee. But the he goes to Hollywood with his dad, and then apparently he's asked to be in the Hollywood parade. Whatever that means.
As I stated, so he could release a separate holiday parade DVD.
And so then he goes to
Just real quickly, Lane, it has nothing to do with anything in the movie. It has nothing to do with bullying. It has nothing to do with the plot.
No.
They just go to Hollywood for no fucking reason.
yeah, and he I guess because presumably Daddy Derek works there. He calls him Daddy Derek, which is fucking weird. And then I mean Derek is his stepfather, right? Like that's not a blood relation.
No, they fucked. Mama Cat and Derek. Fucked
I viewed it. I mean, I thought for a minute, I'm like, probably stepfather, but at the same time, like,
Well, guys, once again, the reason he's Daddy Derek and it's Mama Cat but Daddy Derek is I need to get my name out there as many times as possible because this is just a giant commercial for my cesspool of shitty products.
He thinks so highly of himself. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so then there's like a bunch of bullshit that they just put in to like stretch the movie. Cool Cat does like 18 jumping jacks in the movie. It's ridiculous.
Oh, well, no, they say this in the synopsis of the film. That's one of the things that they encourage good behavior in kids is gun safety, anti-bullying, exercise is one of them because Cool Cat does a couple jumping jacks.
I wish y'all could see my face right now.
And the thing is clearly whoever was going to distribute this says, we have a certain runtime you have to abide by.
Yeah,
Derek.
of course, because it's an hour and
of
15 minutes, the movie.
Yeah, most of this
Counted
movie
all of the
is
minutes.
padding.
oh yeah.
It's
yeah.
riddled with padding.
So then they go to the Hollywood parade. Has nothing to do with anything. It's Christmas time. And Derek's like hanging out of this convertible that says Cool Cat all over it. And then Cool Cat meets up with Maria again. They get bullied again. They're then with Eric Estrada and Vivica Fox.
His two famous friends.
They went over there for like a barbecue or something, and then they like stood up to the bully by yelling at him, and he ran away crying. And then I blacked out, and I don't remember what happened. I'm just kidding. And then there's more filler of Cool Cat doing a few things, and then at the very end, he's outside with his friends, and they find a gun. And they go to like try to find an adult, and the bully gets the gun, takes it to school, and then the police come and arrest this child and just like haul him away in the back of a police car. And then Cool Cat is class president. Yay, the end. Like, and this like kid that was with the bully with the gun comes and apologizes, and that's it.
Yeah.
There was something huge you missed there
What'd I miss?
because this goes to my theory that he is a narcissistic con artist
Okay.
who just wants
Okay,
to
what'd I
shill,
miss?
his interest. They write a random song for
Yeah.
the parade.
Oh, I
on
forgot
Cool
about
Cat.
the. Okay,
Two
I
random
totally
songs.
forgot about the
Two random
songs.
So this dildo can show off the things he owns and his skill set. He's like, well, I really want to get my Van Halen signed guitar into the movie, and I want to show how I can really shred. So we're going to have Cool Cat, a song based on him, then I can also then throw on iTunes, probably for $1.99. I'll introduce it here, but then I'll show how good I am on the guitar and how I have a signed guitar and how I have more money than the audience, and I'll feel good about myself.
He has to have money. That's definitely, that has to be a thing.
That's his house.
It's a shame though that despite the guitar, he still doesn't know how electric guitars work
Because it's not plugged into
because
an
it's not
amplifier.
plugged into an amplifier.
Yeah.
And there is no amplifier in the scene. So yeah.
And I know that
What the fuck?
he wants to loop it in post, but just turn the amplifier all the way down.
Or just plug it in and don't turn it on.
Yeah.
Like you could do that too. You know how amps work, right? Like you know how electric guitars work. They don't have speakers on the electric guitar unless you're like a kid. You've got a little kid guitar.
Yeah.
But what the fuck? Like, I'm watching it. There were a lot of technical problems I had with this movie. Okay, a lot of problems I had with this movie. I mean, one, sound mixing was god awful. Like, it was, it was almost as bad as Birdemic. Birdemic is another level of awful when it comes to sound mixing. This one was almost as bad.
And that's one of the things that we talk about all the time, where we say that's the easiest way to tell if something has a low budget or if like the person doesn't really know what they're doing. Because audio is one of those things that if it's good, you don't notice it. And if you notice the audio, something is horribly wrong. I mean, the fact that the cool cat, whoever is the actor in the suit, now we don't know that, do we? Whoever's in the suit, they were clearly just speaking through the suit, and so they sound kind of muffled. Now, it could have been worse. We've seen other movies where that's happened, and it's been way worse. But he's still kind of muffled when the ADR would have been so easy to just dub right in. Now, Mama Cat in some scenes is dubbed properly.
Yeah.
And you don't, it's not as, noticeable. But they must have done,
all scenes she was dubbed. It just wasn't
Was it
a
all
good,
of her
it
scenes?
wasn't a good dub. It was a terrible dub. But
it still was miles better than what they caught on set. And two, like the rooms in the place are, when they're inside, the rooms are kind of large, and there's always an echo of some kind, or the sound is just, you can tell the sound is like filling the space.
This is our cool cat.
Oh, he looks like a serial killer.
He looks like Cillian Murphy on meth.
Oh, bless him. Oh, and I hate that. I don't want to just like make a knock at his appearance, but he does seem kind of murdery. Oh my God, he's with the ventriloquist dummy. He's gonna kill us all.
He looks like he's in prison too. What is that outfit he's wearing?
Hospital.
But yeah, that's why Cool Cat screams all his lines, is so the boom mic will pick him up, because there's something muffling him between him and the microphone.
When it would have been just so easy to have the guy come in and just
re-record his lines
in like not even a sound booth, just find a quiet room and
yeah,
that's the thing. I mean, if you're this great filmmaker, Derek Savage, like, just put some fucking soundproof, stuff on the walls of your guest room. Fuck.
Well, we now I can't insist enough that you just Google this and see the Cool Cat costume. There's clips online. Like, you need to familiarize yourself, even if it's just a couple of minutes with this while listening to this episode. So pause this, go look up Cool Cat for a couple of minutes, and then come back and continue this review, because you have to see this to believe it. And when you're saying Mama Cat, it needs to be made clear they only had one costume.
Oh yeah.
And then they just, for Mama Cat, they put it in the Cool Cat in a dress, and then they put eyelashes on the eyes, and then the most obvious fake lips over top of the mouth area of, Cool Cat. And it's the only thing of the Cool Cat costume that actually moves. The mouth does move a little bit. The eyes are just these black eyes of death that don't move. Even when he's sleeping, his eyes are wide open like a drug addict,
But you know what? Here's the funny thing, though. There was one scene where they actually did give some emotion to those eyes. It's when his sandcastle gets crushed.
It's angry eyebrows.
He's got angry. Oh my God! Like, I'm like, hey, someone didn't forget the different eyes that day.
Well, there was one scene where his eyes are somewhat closed.
Yeah,
and
that's
John's
the
like,
scene.
John's like, wait, they have closed eyes? Why don't they use that every time he takes a nap? He takes like 5 naps in the movie.
There's a run in that pad time, or pad in that runtime.
So, but along the lines of the audio, I wanted to get through some of the technical problems with this, because I mean, we definitely have a lot of stuff to go over still. But you've got the worst god-awful acting that I've ever seen in any film. Okay,
the kids aren't terrible.
The kids
They're
are kids.
They can be forgiven.
But
they're trying
their
hardest.
really hard.
And that Maria girl, she was
They're
cute.
trying really hard. Terrible acting. Okay.
And I'm assuming that the little bully kid is maybe a friend, like one of Derek Savage's friend's kid.
Probably.
But like, you need to recast that. That little boy doesn't know what he's doing.
Well, as much as I want to blame the actor, when it comes down to performance, you blame the director, because the director's directing the performance. Mm-hmm. Okay,
right.
so...
But he is a small child. There might be only so much you can get out of him.
Right, but, okay, who told him to laugh maniacally like an idiot?
Derek.
There you go. That's my point, is there were times I'm watching it just going like, why is he laughing like a Snidely Whiplash character? Okay, so like it made no sense. So you've got god awful acting, and this is like the worst acting I've ever seen from Vivica A. Fox and Eric Estrada.
Okay, well, Vivica is miles away, and Eric is on whatever he's on. I'll take 5.
Yeah,
'Cause he is messed up.
He's on them fancy painkillers.
He took a handful of color pills and drank like 15 margaritas.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
Hey, Eric, will you be in my movie, Cool Cat? Well, can I get messed up? Really messed up? Sounds good, as long as I can put you on the cover. What about Vivica A. Fox? You know, she's our friend, right? You don't have to say her full name. Like,
yeah,
you don't have to name drop with me. No, it's fine. It's like, as long as you pay me up front, Vivica A. Fox, as long as you pay me up front, and I don't have to do anything.
Oh, I don't think she got paid. There's nothing in this screams money. Like, this whole thing looks like favors.
Oh, yeah.
This looks like I met Vivica A. Fox and Eric Estrada at the Hollywood parade thing, and they saw my Cool Cat shit, and I said, hey, I'm working on the movie. Would you mind just being in one scene?
Oh, no, that's
he
not how
lives in
that went
Hollywood.
down.
I think these are his buddies. These are his 2 famous friends.
I don't think they're his buddies. I think quite literally they met at the Hollywood parade thing, and he said, hey, be in my movie.
No, I think...
I don't think they got paid for it.
I think Eric Estrada accidentally hit Derek Savage, like, real-life cat in the street, and, like, the cat, like, was in the hospital, and Eric was like, what can I do for you, like, to make this better? And then he was like, well, you can be in my movie. Like, this was, like, a blood favor. Like, something bad happened to pay this off. And then the cat died, and Eric was like, I'll bring my friend Vivica A. Fox. And Derek was like, cool, I won't sue you.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way anyone would agree to, like, this guy. Like, he does not even look trustworthy.
No.
Like, he's...
A lot of second-rate distributors will tell you, like, okay, here's how you get your independent movie on the shelf. You need a lot of gore, you need boobs, you need somebody of fame. Mm-hmm. And obviously, this is Cool Cat because there's not going to be any gore or boobs unless you count, like, Mama Cat and her milk. But so you need to throw some famous people on there so you can throw them on the poster. And he's like, okay, I need to invite my only 2 famous friends over. And yeah, and they just name drop the shit out of this. Because Lane, you said they go to a barbecue, which there's no barbecue. It's just the 2, Vivica A. Fox and Eric Estrada, sitting there getting drunk. He's like, oh, we have to go to a barbecue at Vivica A. Fox's house. No one talks like that unless you're purposely name dropping the shit out of the famous person you have in the movie. Yeah. And when Vivica A. Fox is the most famous person you have, that's not a good sign.
That's not a good sign.
Is this better or worse than Independence Day regurgitation?
Oh, Independence Day is like a million times better than this.
I would watch that more.
I'd watch that.
I never want to see this again.
Yeah. So going along with the terrible things here, and I really just want to wrap this part up here. Yeah. So you've multiple times where the lighting is shit and you see multiple shadows. Okay, on the back walls.
Yep. There's a shot at the beginning of the movie when they're going through his house, and you can see the camera crew, like, shadows in the wall.
You can see the outline of Daddy Derek in the wall. You can see his shadow.
There's times I think you can see the equipment in Cool Cat's shiny eyes.
Yes, you can. You've got the worst art design I've ever seen. Production design. It's. I know. I'm judging this at a higher level than this movie actually is, but. One, Cool Cat has like 3 bedrooms. Okay, he has 3 bedroom sets.
You mean Derek Savage's spare room that he just put?
No, it's not everywhere. But here's the thing: it's not even the same bedroom. It's like halfway through, they're like, "Hey, you know what? Let's change it to another room, or let's change it to this room." So he's got 3 bedrooms that he's in, and there's no consistency across it.
Well, do you want to talk about consistency? There's a kid that gets arrested with the bully. He has short goddamn hair, and at the end of the movie, he comes back and apologizes to Cool Cat, and he has long fucking hair. I didn't even think it was the same kid. We had to rewind because I thought they recast.
He's been in prison.
Well, it's because like we figured it out because the kid's hair was buzzed when he was with the other kid and the police, and then at the end his hair was long. Yeah. That's why we thought it was a different kid.
There's a lot of that. Like Derek Savage's shirt changes color in a couple scenes. Like there's one scene where he's out on the back patio talking with Cool Cat about his fucking story, and you look at the over the shoulder and it's purple, and then you look at the reversal and it's black, and I'm like, okay. That's a thing.
Well, just like there's no sense of time either. Like Cool Cat has breakfast, We go to a scene outside for about 4 minutes, and Derek comes out and says, "Hey, come on in, kids. Lunch is ready." Well, how fucking often do you eat? It's been like 4 minutes.
Well, think about how many times a day our cat wants to eat.
Yeah, he is a giant man cat.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why he takes so many naps, right?
Is he more man than cat or more cat than man?
He's more machine now than man.
But and the last thing I want to point out is, one, the terrible grammar. Like, kids loves Cool Cat. Did you see that newspaper thing that popped up?
His website is riddled with typos and grammar errors.
So is his Kickstarter page.
Yeah, so you've got
he
that.
Successfully kickstarted last year for like $2,000.
Oh, Lane, thank you for mentioning
Well, that was for, you know what that's for, right? That's
Cool
for
Cat,
the sequel.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is it's not a sequel. He's literally taking the same movie and throwing more shit into it.
Guys, he's a hack con artist.
Yes, I'm well aware.
Are you realizing this now?
Yes, I'm well aware of that. And of course, you've got these terrible graphics and green screen that was done for it too. Like, there's literally times where I'm seeing the green spill off the green screen on Cool Cat. And you're seeing parts of him disappear.
I pointed that out to you last night, John. Yeah. I was like, look, you can see it spelled, like, because in his eyes, like, they must have overlit the green screen because you can see
he
it
was
in
too
his
close
eyes
to the
and on his
background.
shirt. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the green screen wasn't separately lit. That's why you had that problem.
Yep, exactly.
And then, of course, as I said, you've got the motion graphics that are literally canned graphics.
Oh, and the font choices were no bueno.
Yeah.
They made me so sad.
And I know I'm nitpicking stuff that you're just like, it's a bad movie. Why do you care? Because it's all part of the stew of how terrible this is.
And two, I mean, just like, I know that we were going to do tech, but can we talk about content a little bit?
Yes, I'm done with talking about tech.
Okay, cool. Because like with the content, even like, John, like we said, his thesis film was on, cyberbullying and it covered a lot of regular bullying too. And, I produced the film, because we were working on it together. And, I helped with a lot of the interviews and stuff. And like just everything that Cool Cat tells kids to do in this movie is wrong. Every single fucking thing. Like, if you get it in the movie, Maria gets a text from someone she doesn't know. Yeah. And Cool Cat's like, it's probably someone who wants to be your friend. No, bastard. If you get a text message from someone you don't know, you take it to a parent.
At first, he says maybe it's somebody that wants to give you a lot of money.
Yeah, that part I thought was funny. I'm like, oh yeah, you could win $1 million and then we could go on a trip or some shit. I'm like, dude, that's a scam.
Yeah.
Like, those emails are scams.
Or if you start to teach people to believe people that say they have something for you, like candy in a van. Mm-hmm. Like, Derek, are you fucking stupid?
No, it's everything that Cool Cat says, you should probably do the opposite.
Well, he even does the opposite. There was a scene, and this was referenced in a couple of the YouTube reviews of this movie, where he tells a kid, don't run in the street and look both ways.
Yep.
And within a minute of saying that, he runs in the street without looking both ways. He also disobeys his dad and doesn't stay in the front of the fucking yard. And it's like, you're a fucking moron. What the fuck is wrong with you?
We screamed at the TV when he ran into the street. Well, that's the thing, too. There's so many inconsistencies in the dialogue.
I wanted a car to hit him.
The dialogue isn't how people talk. Like,
no.
That's a big thing. Like, if you're writing a screenplay, you've really got to say it out loud to yourself to make sure it makes sense. Like, I'm in a writing group, and I say this all the time. I'm always looking at dialogue. Because it could even look great on the page. Now, nothing about Cool Cat looks great anywhere. But even if it looks good on the page, you have to run through it to make sure it's how people talk. And nobody talks like that. Like, one of the little kids, like, towards the end of the movie says, that's an intelligent thing to do. Like, kids don't fucking talk like that. No, kids don't say that.
Like, there was a moment where Cool Cat said exquisite to a child. I'm just like... Well, I don't think I've ever used the word exquisite in conversation.
Maybe a piece of art. Like,
no,
that's
no.
I was just going to say, I've used it in a museum.
I've never even used it in a museum.
Well, guys, are we ignoring the fact that they tried to make groovy happen? Like, they tried to bring that back?
all the time.
Yeah.
Because it was done by a 50-something hack fraud.
Well, Derek Savage was born in 1962, which doesn't even explain, like... Because he came to age in, like, the early 80s, like, late 70s. Groovy wasn't even a thing by then. No. So I don't know where he's pulling this out of.
Out of his ass.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would actually contest that, John, because he's around the same age as my half sister, and she says groovy all the fucking time, or at least she used to.
No,
it's weird. That's weird because they're the same age, but she said it too.
Unless you're Bruce Campbell, you can't say groovy.
But she did. Like I'm saying, like it's not maybe that unusual.
Yeah, but oh god.
Yeah, but just
am I missing any parts here?
Well, just to get to the point, I try to make where this is just a commercial for everything. So let's just kind of break that down. At the opening credits, which looks like it was done by a 4-year-old on iMovie.
Yes.
It's so true.
Yeah.
With by the way, Comic Sans font. You never ever use Comic Sans font. I don't even as for kids.
Listen, I don't think Derek Savage knows graphic standards.
No,
I mean he obviously doesn't know grammar.
He knows how to get a guitar signed by Eddie Van Halen. We'll give him that.
eBay.
Yeah. And so we have his book at the beginning of the movie, and then there are multiple times that it's mentioned. And this is where it gets like Inception here, that Derek Savage created Cool Cat.
Yeah, they mention it in the Christmas parade.
But Cool Cat exists in this universe, so how could he have created
they do some Deadpool fourth wall shit in this.
But like almost not on purpose. Like there's nothing about the film.
They do a couple times on purpose, like when he's going to brush his teeth. Or
I mean that is.
Like he's like, I gotta go pee.
Hey, Cool Cat. What you doing in the bathroom for so long? Leave me alone, Daddy Derek. I'm almost finished. Oh, he's like a little spotter monkey. But yeah, so the holiday parade is just so he could create a separate movie. Kind of beating that one to death. But the Cool Cat enters a competition for children writers, and he writes about Charlie the Trout, which is another one of Derek's books. All the songs were
written by Derek,
shoehorned in the movie, written by Derek, so he could sell those. Cool Cat wears all the Cool Cat merchandise T-shirts.
It's called a clothing line on Derek Savage's website.
No. A clothing line,
yeah, because they said like it's like the pop culture phenomenon that is like blah 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 blah, like that has spawned like books, movies, a clothing line.
Jesus Christ,
it's so bad. I mean, like we talk about bad movies so much. I feel like there's really a lot of like scholarly work that could be done on looking at the failure and finding the path to doing something right by looking at what's wrong. But in this case, like there can be a lot of joy to be found, because like the utter glee of seeing The Room for the first time, where you're like, someone really thought that was good. Like say what you want, Tommy Wiseau is very polarizing, maybe he's doing this on purpose, maybe he's not. But like that, or like Troll 2, where like the filmmaker was like, this is art. But like with this film, there's no joy in how bad it is. It's just so misguided. And the fact that like he's just doing it to pump out his books. Derek is like a special kind of evil to me.
You know what the difference is between, like, I had no joy watching this.
No, it hurt.
There was no joy.
It hurt the whole time.
It was kind of funny.
I was not.
Your tolerance for this is much higher than ours, though, John.
So here's the thing. The difference between this movie and Troll 2 and The Room is that Troll 2 and The Room were competently shot for the most part. Okay? I'm not saying the best, but they were competently
but you're right.
shot.
It's clean.
It's clean.
At least.
In focus. Audio was good.
Brian, why did you point out in focus? There were multiple scenes that are out of focus in this fucking movie, were there? You couldn't possibly be mentioning that.
Oh, I am. So
the Christmas parade?
Yes.
The whole Christmas parade's blurry.
What I'm saying is the crew behind The Room and behind Troll 2 at least knew how to make
had some kind of
movie.
Education.
It wasn't the best movie, and honestly, the problems with those movies are ultimately acting and story.
Right.
Okay? I'm not looking at it and going, oh yeah, the boom shadows in this or anything like that. I mean, and there probably is, but it's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, it's kind of, it's an indie film that's going to happen. This movie is just, it's as bad as Birdemic is in quality. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. But at least Birdemic has a little bit of charm.
It's hysterical.
It's hysterical.
And I don't know why. I don't know what draws that line. I think we all hate this movie, Cat, for different reasons. Brian, I think the tech really bothers you.
It does.
And for me, like the morality really bothers me of like giving kids like terrible fucking advice. But I'm not sure what you hate about it. I think you love it, John.
I think he loves he hates the
but
person.
I can't put my finger on why it bothers me so much because something like Birdemic, I mean, it's funny, but this isn't funny to me. It's just too self-serving, I think.
Well, what didn't help was for this show, we're doing our research, we're watching, we're taking notes. Like, this is the kind of thing you should enjoy with like 10 other friends and you're all drunk. Then it's fantastic.
Maybe.
But when you're sitting there like by yourself taking like clinical notes,
that's a good point.
Yeah, it is hard to get.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but and then the last thing I want to mention, this is because Lane, you mentioned the messaging. There is a scene in this movie that really bugged me, and I mean, it was a scene where Cool Cat gets done talking about how he likes friends and he loves all kids, and yet he watches as Butch the Bully gets blinded in his eyes with spray paint, and then he revels in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like a bully.
Like a bully.
Yeah.
Okay? Mm-hmm. Is that the message that you want to get across? It's like, oh, love everyone except for the bullies. Fuck them, let them get blinded. Yeah. Is that that constructive? Is that a constructive message to have?
It's hard, if you're being bullied to hear this, but like, you need to be able to forgive them because, there could be any number of reasons why they're doing it. In the moment, it's very hard to say that or to do that. But the last thing you want to say is, don't worry. I'm sure someday that bully will get AIDS and die painfully alone. It's like, oh, good. They're going to suffer. Now, like, that's a horrible message for children.
I mean, it's like that old adage, like holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Like, you teach kids to forgive not because the other person deserves it, but because like you carry around that darkness, you carry around like those feelings. Like, forgiveness is more about letting go of the feelings that make you angry than they are about like, being okay with the person that did it to you again. There's lessons that should be taught to children about that. I mean, that they're very complex, but to steer them in the complete wrong direction is so irresponsible.
I'll be honest with you. I was bullied a lot as a kid.
I was bullied a little bit as a kid.
And I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm perfect, and I'm saying, oh yeah, I forgive the bully. I don't. Fuck him. He can get run over by a car. It's cool. But I have an understanding of why he did that stuff.
Sure.
I know that he was bullied at home by his own brother, and he then took it out on me and my couple other people. So I get that. What I'm saying is, this is a video that's designed for children to watch. It's marketed directly towards children to watch, and you're giving the message that you should not forgive, or you should not try to understand why someone does something, but instead your reaction is, fuck him, hope he gets blinded by spray paint.
Yeah, and like,
and ostracized from the whole street. And like that's not what you want.
Well, also it completely and totally misses the point that, all bullies are fat, ugly, like loner kids with no friends. That's not how power dynamics of bullying work at all. It's usually the most popular kids that have all the power who do the bullying.
Yeah, there was a real popular girl in my school who bullied me, and her parents were getting divorced. I mean, you don't have to be a psychologist to take that and figure that one out. You know what I mean? But she did have a lot of power, and she never bullied me alone. Like, she was always with another person.
And if Derek had done even just 2 minutes of research, he might have known that.
Like, a simple Googling would have really gotten the job done.
And God forbid we actually learn why Butch does the things he does. And was anybody else really uncomfortable in a post-Columbine world? This kid's like, I'm going to take this gun to school and threaten people.
Really
that
stupid.
Part,
that was bad storytelling all around.
I'm sorry. His response to, first of all, why is there a gun in Daddy Derek's backyard?
Yeah.
Like, that would be my first...
That could have been dropped by somebody. I don't know.
It didn't look like it was dropped. It looked like it was buried.
Of all the problems
maybe Daddy Derek was killing people.
I have 99 problems, but that gun ain't one.
But
snitches need to be
shot.
Oh my God.
Okay? We didn't talk about the snitch part. We have to talk about the snitch part. Okay, snitch is next.
Okay, go ahead. All right. What I was saying was, if you find a gun...
Fucking movie.
If you find a gun, you don't say, oh, let's wait for Butch to have the gun for a night and, just call up his daddy. You call the fucking cops then.
Oh, Brian, talk about technical issues. There are simple filters that you can use in any editing software to make it sound like somebody's on the phone. They had Butch's dad, the voice of him, just in another room, yelling his line, so it sounded like he was on the phone. It just sounds like he's 2 rooms away. The fuck is wrong with you, Derek? Once again, Google how to do that, and then also while you're there, Google bullying, you idiot.
Your balls have like gone right up, and you haven't just.
No, you're you're so shrill and upset right now.
Okay, so the snitches part, Lane.
Well, I'm trying to find it because it's
Snitches
on
get fucked.
because they describe it on Cool Cat's Cool page or his Kickstarter page. By the way, Cool Cat versus the Wicked Witch is forthcoming. Derek has already finished the script.
No.
Just read it. Okay, so here we go. So basically, Derek's explaining his own movie. The movie addresses several issues that are important to all children, and then bullying and cyberbullying is the first one, and then the second one says kids gun safety. Cool Kids and his friends find a gun, and Cool Cat shows kids what to do if they find a weapon or if they see someone at school with one. The snitching issue is also addressed.
What's there to?
Well, they talk about like snitching and tattling in the movie.
Yeah.
Well, snitches get stitches, and
But they talk. They talk about it like. Cool Cat should have been like, "This is unequivocally not snitching. This is not tattletaling. Like, I am Cool Cat. I am trusted with teaching children information. If you see a gun,
Call the cops.
This is very serious.
You don't wait for 24 hours to go by and then go to the school where the kid has the gun.
Well, no, they were trying to find Derek. They were trying to find Daddy Derek.
Well, what I'm saying is Daddy Derek then decides, I'm not going to call the cops. I'm just going to call his dad instead. That's my problem. Yeah, it doesn't listen to him. That's my problem with it.
That Derek doesn't call the police.
Derek should just call the police.
Yeah.
And say, hey, Butch might have a gun. Can you go check out if he has a gun? Because his ignorance and his idea that he knows best could have led to that school getting shot up before him and Cool Cat show up the next day. That's my problem with it.
Well, it's so irresponsible, and I'm not saying that, like, I have the knowledge in my brain right now to make a child safety video. Like, I would want to do some research and talk to psychologists. I mean, I would want to do it
because you're a competent human being. You understand that you need to know how to do stuff before you start preaching it.
But you can see the most blatant of mistakes that are just so harmful.
Yeah, well, mostly Butch as being an irredeemable, one-dimensional, mustache-twirling monster.
A Snidely Whiplash, yeah.
Yeah, we never learn anything about him, like, when we said earlier, that might explain his bullying. Like, that's very important for kids though too, isn't it? Like, why certain kids are bullies, not just because it makes it seem like that these people are just guttural trash that just need to be taught a lesson and pay a horrible price because they're not great people like you.
Well, I mean, if you look at it too, like looking at the reasoning behind bullying as being like as a person being bullied, I think it helps you understand that like it's not you. Like it helps you take it less personally. Like when I was little, and I wasn't picked on like a ton, but I there was one girl who would sometimes like torture after school, and realizing that like it comes from a place of severe unhappiness. It comes from a place of like, upheaval in her life, with, her parents having problems. Like, it helped me realize like, okay, like there's nothing wrong with me. Like the problem is with her. Like she's upset, and this is her way of like dealing with it. You know what I mean? Like for kids to understand, like you're being picked on, not because there's something wrong with you, but because something is upsetting somebody else. Like that also garners empathy. Right.
Now, I mean, for me, I'll be honest with you. I regret that I didn't deck the bully in the face.
I mean, sometimes that's the only way to deal with a bully.
I regret that I didn't do that. I should have. And if I was talking to my younger self now, I would have said, grab a, sock full of quarters and knock him one over the head. Just because it was relentless and it was every single day.
Well, Cool Cat would definitely support your vigilante justice.
Right. But at the same time, I do understand why he was doing what he's doing.
You're a grown-ass man
and
now.
I'm a grown man now. But I'm just saying at the time, I should have decked him. That's just me. I mean, that's just my own personal thing. I think you have to stand up. I think you can't just expect it to go away. You can't yell and scream. That doesn't work.
No, that doesn't work. That would just escalate the situation.
I think it escalates the situation. I think you do have to stand your ground, though. I think you do have to stand up and say, I'm not going to take this shit anymore. I understand your life sucks, but you don't have any right to take it out on me.
Get off my dick.
You know? And sometimes people don't understand words. So you have to kind of do that in those situations.
Maybe, but I mean, but that's not what you teach kids. I mean, you teach kids other de-escalating kinds of things first.
Absolutely.
You know?
Especially kids this young. Mm-hmm. You know,
It's funny that we're talking so much about bullying and focusing so much on it because this film sure didn't.
Yeah.
If for a movie called Cool Cat, stops bullying or Cool Cat
saves the kids
or whatever he wants to call it, there's only about 40% or maybe 35% of this movie is about bullying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of it is just him
I
going
would say
to,
like 15%.
Yeah, the rest of it is him eating food, going to car shows, being in a
dumb little
parade,
friends.
writing
being in a parade that
song.
we never see how he's asked in, by the way.
Yeah, right?
Do you love that part?
You
go to
know
Hollywood.
money changed hands. Derek paid to be in that
No,
parade.
but we don't even see that. We get audio narration with a clip show because he goes to Hollywood for the day. Mm-hmm. He sits in front of the Hollywood sign, Sam Cooke at come to Hollywood. And then we see pictures.
Spot on Cool Cat.
Really,
we see pictures of the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and then he comes home. Mm-hmm. Because he says, "Oh, we're going to be in the Hollywood parade." We don't see it. We hear it.
Nope.
And then he comes home.
Nope.
And then he goes back to Hollywood.
Yep.
When you're a driveling idiot, you're like, I'm going to go shoot outside the Hollywood sign of that production value. But what does it have to do with anything in your movie? That's production value. I'm a male stripper, and I wrote a book about it. It's on my website next to my children's books.
I mean, I swear sometimes like people from California are just from a different planet anyway, so I'm sure
originally
it makes
from
sense.
California, so.
Well, you're a hateful Yankee now. We've accepted you as one of our own.
I know that.
Yeah. All right, guys. This movie was painful. Yeah. We always say, like, do we recommend
it really
doing that?
hurt
Like
to watch.
I would say if you can find an itty bitty clip online that kind of goes over some of it. Like John said, definitely check out the costume because it's made of nightmares. But for this one, I would skip it because, like, unless you're going to, like John said, have a few beers, have some friends over, like, and really have fun. It is not fun to just sit clinically in your room, like watching and taking notes. Like, do not recommend.
I would suggest that if you're going to watch this movie, you should watch it from the YouTube channels that Derek Savage specifically went after in his copyright takedown frenzy. Specifically, I Hate Everything and Your Movie Sucks.
Do it.
Check out their videos, watch them, because at least you're giving them views. Mm-hmm. And that basically is a giant middle finger to Daddy Derek.
Yeah, Your Movie Sucks is one of my favorite YouTube channels, and his review of it is hysterically funny. Speaking of his channel, you should also look up the video "Cool Cat Learns Fair Use."
Oh yeah, that's
a good one.
Slays him,
That's
Derek
a great
Savage,
one.
on like how fair use works and how everything Derek Savage did.
That is a great video.
In this quick video he posted online, just is everything Derek says is wrong about fair use.
Right. Because Derek has videos that he's done about fair use.
He did it in response to these
exactly
takedowns.
Like, I took this label off my water bottle because you can't have the label on there. I just want to be safe. It's like, in your movie, Cool Cat goes in front of the Batmobile and the DeLorean and
the Ghostbusters car.
Don't fucking tell me about labels.
No,
don't tell me about that.
You're an
shit.
idiot.
Yeah.
Like,
but no, I couldn't recommend this movie more under one circumstance. Like Elaine, like what you said, you need to have multiple friends over, and you need to be enjoying the substance of your choice. Mm-hmm. Some kind of mind-altering substance, and you will laugh your ass off. If you watch this by yourself, you want to die.
I watched this by myself.
Seriously,
I watched this by Elaine and I watched it together.
My wife
my
wife had no part in it.
In a
She's
good
like,
way.
I don't want to watch it.
Lauren is the smartest of us all.
And then she asked me, she's like, "Why are you watching this?" I'm like, "Because it's bad." It's like, why don't you review good movies? I'm like, we do review good movies, but this is
the
a
bad ones are
pantheon.
way
People
more
don't
fun.
care as much about the good movies.
This is a pantheon, and we had to induct it in there. So this is our newest entry to the pantheon of shit. Fuck you, Derek Savage.
This is like the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yes.
And I know we're wrapping up, but it's like, you have to see the Star Wars Holiday Special, in my opinion, at least once, because you have to experience it. You have to see this, I feel. You have to, so you can go, what the fuck were any of them thinking?
I have a theory about bad movies. I feel that we have to watch these terrible films to have an appreciation for the artistry and craftsmanship that goes into good movies.
Fair.
Okay? You have to have the greasy burger that gives you the shits to appreciate the filet mignon that you savor every minute of. So there you go. There you go.
How long before the Me Too thing comes out about Derek Savage?
That guy probably groped some people.
Yeah,
not a joke.
Including giant
no,
Catwoman.
no, guys. Like, he's a bad filmmaker. We can't just say he did terrible things because we are offended by this movie. Well, we'll see.
God.
We'll see. But anyway, guys, that wraps it up, I think, for this episode. You can find me on Twitter at LA_Croft.
You can find me at the Unreal J Wolves.
You can find me at Brian Content. I also run the Psycho Show page. Be sure to like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google Plus at Psycho Show. You can also find us on the Epic Cast Network at epiccastnetwork.com. If you have a favorite movie or question you want to throw away, you want to talk to us about your post-traumatic stress from watching Cool Cat Saves Kids, you can contact us at cinemapsychoshow.com. And make sure to subscribe to us on iTunes. Send us a rate, send us a review. Also, please consider subscribing to our newsletter, Psychos Nation. You can find that, sign up on our website as well as Facebook, and catch a new episode available every Sunday.
Daddy Derek is a mental defective con artist sex pervert! Yay!
God.